Well, that's what happens when I leave the tech team to go on holiday for a week. Wonderful, wonderful. Hello everyone, can you hear me? I think we are live. I'm just going to get final confirmation. I think everyone can hear. Excellent. Okay. Well, that was a bit awkward, wasn't it? Or maybe that was all planned, who knows. Salutations everyone, my name is Mr. G, and welcome to EoJ Talks. For everyone who has never been to an EoJ Talks before, EoJ Talks is the show where I bring on a member of the team to discuss their time in Elements of Justice. And I try to get a wide variety of people because there's a wide variety of roles. Today, my guest is the main man responsible for a lot of the promotional material you have seen in recent months. And equally, in recent months, has also taken on the responsibility of being my sort of what do you call like a protege to the Bonds of Justice series. So a lot of really awesome stuff that we can talk about, especially when it comes to promoting content, as well as making side series. And I hope you've all got some good questions. A reminder that if you wish to ask a question to said guest, you'll need to be in the Discord. And you can find a link to that hopefully in the description of this stream. But I should stop talking and actually let the gentleman introduce himself. So, without further ado, Trenton, please introduce yourself.
Howdy, y'all. Yes, my name is Trenton. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor just to be a part of this wonderful community, let alone be able to make content that makes people's lives even incrementally better. I first joined this production about 2 years ago. I think it was actually in January 2022, so a little over 2 years. I started out as like this meager copywriter for the Bonds of Justice series. A little bit after that, it was fully integrated into the team, and a little faster than I was expecting. I ended up real good friends with Jay and with Jarvie and with all the people who make the production possible, and they decided to trust me with the title of a PR team leader. So I've been privileged to host server events in the fan server, to run the social medias, to make Bonds of Justice. I've got absolutely nothing to complain about. Nothing at all.
And it's wonderful to have you, and you're very well deserving as far as I'm concerned when it comes to a lot of those titles, especially when it comes to the PR side of things. Lots of really fun, awesome ideas that arguably would not have been feasible had it not been for your ingenuity and creativity there. So, yeah, very, very earned, if you ask me.
You flatter me, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, maybe I will unflatter you and unsettle you with some of the questions today, because I've got quite a fair amount. So don't stay too comfortable for too long, because you never know what may come out of my mouth and may make you very, very, very... what's the term I'm going to be looking for here? I don't want to say rattle because that would be a bit unfair, be a bit nasty. Let's just say I'm looking forward to getting your presentation and sort of promotional skills, not just for content this time, but for you yourself. Because they say, as I said before, there's quite a lot of awesome things that we should promote. And a lot of awesome skills that I'm sure you can divulge people about. But we're going to get started from the very beginning. Let's go long time back, right? Well before all of this. My first question is going to be about when you first saw EoJ, or more specifically, how you came to find out about it.
So, I am just barely old enough to have, like, grown up when Turnabout Storm was coming out. And, like, I remember watching the last episode and being utterly enthralled with the writing and the storytelling and the characters and the presentation. It was all just a genuine work of art that sort of, like, transcended fandom, in a way. It's what deepened my love for My Little Pony and what ended up getting me into Ace Attorney. This is just one of my favorite things of all time now. And, I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, and then I went back to rewatch it. It must have been in 2022, and I kept getting EoJ in my recommendations. At first, I kind of just shied away from it, almost just out of principle, because, I didn't believe that anything less than something from the actual creator would live up to Turnabout Storm. But I gave it a watch after a little bit, and it recaptured all of the magic that I felt watching that original series. The production value was insurmountably better, and I started following it around, I believe it was like 2-2, and it was just a joy to see that it was still ongoing and to know that there was such caring and talented people behind it.
I can imagine that it's definitely inspiring, as you say, to know that something you're so attached to can just, keeps moving, it keeps living. And I know that for me, that was definitely something I was quite surprised to find when I first found it. So I share your excitement, I share your enthusiasm. And so obviously you sort of mentioned already that you were quite well integrated into the hype around Turnabout Storm. So when exactly did you think you sort of, become a fan, so to speak, of EoJ, or more accurately, I guess, in this context, when did you start to really sort of involve yourself more by watching or, even being a part of the fan Discord, if you were even there to begin with? Because I think, memory serves me, I think when we were putting out applications, you weren't quite there. You weren't on the Discord at the time. No. I can't remember, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. I never particularly threw myself into the EoJ fandom. Like, I wasn't in the fan server. I didn't keep up with, like, all the updates, at least not at first. And I hardly even commented on the videos. So it was more of just like sort of a passive interest that I followed recreationally instead of devotionally. If that changed, it changed around 2-4, which was, if memory serves me right, the first trial segment of Case 2. And that's when I just became utterly freaking mystified by, the plot and the mystery and the characterization. It was unlike anything I had seen in Turnabout Storm and Ace Attorney. And that's when I started, like, leaving comments, really starting to engage, really starting to follow the production as more than a simple hobby. And like clockwork, right after I started getting into it, I'll put out applications.
I love your very clever usage there of like clockwork. Very, very on the nose, very smart.
Oh, thank you.
But that is quite fortunate, actually, that things lined up that nicely for you. So you would say then when you kind of wanted to join them beforehand, or was it actually more of a spur of the moment decision when those applications came out? So did you always intend you wanted to get involved, or because you saw that opportunity, you decided to take it?
I mean, it was a little bit of both, I would say. I'd always wanted to do something like Turnabout Storm just because of, like, what that series did for me in my early childhood development and the growing of a media conscience. This is just a story that I've never told anybody before, but when I was like freaking 10 years old, I wrote a Turnabout-inspired crossover between Ace Attorney and Five Nights at Freddy's, just because I wanted to sort of tap into the magic of that series.
Oh.
So when EoJ came out and I saw that it was still ongoing, of course I wanted to be a part of it, but that was always just, a dream. It was something that only occurred to me in the form of, hey, wouldn't that be cool? I never even thought that they would be accepting applications, let alone that a little over 2 years after joining it, I would be this integrated into the production. I would say it was both something that I've been imagining long before I got the chance, and something that just came right the heck out of nowhere.
Well, I have to admit that you didn't, as you say, you didn't make that apparent that you had engaged in a little bit of prior fan work. That's quite interesting. So what was the...
No one I currently know will ever read that fan fiction. No one who is currently living and breathing will ever read that.
Is it public? Is it public at least?
I don't think it is anymore, but I'm certain I could find it.
You have opened a Pandora's box there with me, friend, because now you are going to have to let me read that at some point.
Have it your way. Just know, I will turn in a copy of that fan fiction along with my resignation.
Well, I can't have that just yet, so I'll take the fan fiction, but your resignation I'll probably read a couple of years from now, so can't allow it to happen. It's still very interesting. Very interesting. In fact, that is some deep iceberg lore about you that I never thought I'd learn. So, new fun fact for me. With that being said, though, since you had some experience with writing, and especially writing of the creative capacity, let's just say, because Ace Attorney and Five Nights at Freddy's, that's a very bold crossover, even for our standards, I'd imagine. What was it like when you were putting in the application to write? What was it like to actually complete the task? And I think for everybody's benefit listening, because they won't know that, do you want to go over what you were asked to do so that people can get a bit of context as well?
Yeah, so the second episode of Bonds of Justice, and the first one that was worked on by the PR team, was a Rainbow Blues, where essentially Rainbow kind of sort of breaks into Phoenix's room at night and just wants to vent about all her problems. It was very sweet, and it had some good laughs in there too. It was just a ball to work on. But that originally started as the audition for the PR team. What happened was we were given the prompt. Rainbow enters Phoenix's room to talk about her issues, and then set free to write like 10 to 15 pages, taking that any direction that we wanted to. So, at school, in between classes or in study halls, I would be working on that, trying to, tiptoe the line between genuine emotional reflection and the charm that both of these series are known for. I wouldn't say it was necessarily nerve-wracking. I mean, I've experienced writing and even publishing my writing, so it was just sort of a project that I thought would just come and go. I mean, if I got in, that'd be wonderful. I didn't think it'd change my life, but I was hoping I'd get in. But writing it, I didn't know if it was going to turn out to be anything more than a way of practice.
Gotcha. And that's quite interesting, actually. So, a way of practice, as in, practice for future projects, or practice for your general writing creativity as a whole?
Yeah, I would say that because I've been writing for as long as I've had the capacity to hold a pencil in my hand. At recess in elementary school, I wouldn't go to play on the monkey bars or the swing set or even go to the kickball court. I would sit at the picnic tables and write Five Nights at Freddy's fan fiction. And, that just sort of evolved into me being a more serious writer, getting stuff put into like school published magazines and entering into writing competitions. So I've always been a writer, and I'd never been a screenwriter before. And this sort of just presented the opportunity to write using a script format and to carry a narrative using exclusively dialogue. And it's a challenge to me, but one that I am better for having overcome.
No, I agree. I think it's quite interesting when you look back at what you've come from, especially from that initial piece. And I feel like you and I should sit down one day, especially after writing a particular episode 1 for a particular season 2 of a particular Bonds of Justice, to really review that, because I'd love to see that sort of transition and that growth myself. I remember reading the application as a little bit of a fun add-on story to it, and I was very impressed. And I'm not a literary person. I think everybody in the team and outside of the team should be aware of that if they aren't already. I am probably the worst person to touch a script, and recent events in relation to the writing of a particular episode have shown why we don't let me near a page. But it was still good and captivating, even for someone like myself who isn't very literary inclined. So I have to say, from my perspective, you were certainly a top pick. And I mean, let's be frank, you're here now where you are, so I think my intuition is at least somewhat accurate. But it's amazing to think, how much you have grown from that perspective. But if we kind of, again, just sort of take it back a step, like you mentioned that it was an opportunity, and the way you're framing it sounds like you didn't expect to get in. Is there any particular reason why you felt that way?
Well, it's just because, like, at this point, Element of Justice just seemed like this insurmountable series, and I don't know what I was imagining happening in the writer's room, but I assumed it was done by a lot more professional people than a 15-year-old kid, and I respected the writing so much, and I thought it was so good that I thought if I was going to be good enough to join it, it'd be like a decade down the line after, countless hours of practicing and training and revising. So when I wrote it, it was sort of like, a Hail Mary. It's going to be good, if nothing else, to get this practice. And the worst that could possibly happen is, I don't get in and my life does not change.
Absolutely. I think that's a very healthy mindset to have, and a very good one to go into, because a lot of the times it is the opportunity. Just you've got to take it. But again, it's quite fun to sort of look back and go, there was a lot of uncertainty from your end, but as I say, your strength as a writer was very apparent. So I hope that from at least since then you felt more confident in what you've written. And I know we've had a lot of really awesome and sometimes very interesting discussions about like ideas.
Okay.
And I hope you felt more inclined to explore them, which I know you have, especially, as I say, of a particular episode 1 of a particular season 2 of a particular Bonds of Justice that we will not go into too much detail here, or maybe we will, depends on who asks the right questions and how much bribery I get. Remember, everybody, I won't do anything for money. Wait, no, that's the wrong quote, isn't it? Anyway, moving on. You already mentioned to everyone that the first episode you kind of involved yourself in was the test. Was the first thing you wrote was the test, and the test later became the episode Rainbow Blues for season 1 of Bonds of Justice. Now, the question I want to ask is probably going to be a bit lead-in, so I'll try and explain it a bit better. But so, what was it like when the first episode of Bonds of Justice you contributed to got released? You can probably refer to that one, but I'm also thinking of another episode because, if I'm not mistaken, you took a bigger lead on. Was it Not Far from the Tree, or am I mistaken?
You're mistaken. In fact, up until this very second, the episode that I had the most direct involvement with was episode 2. In fact, the test script that I wrote for my audition later ended up getting adapted into the script for EoJ episode 2. Seeing that come out, seeing my words spoken by great voice actors and actresses put to animation and then put out to tens of thousands of views, my God, it was surreal. I hope you understand, even though I said that I'd been writing for a while, it was always freaking crap Five Nights at Freddy's fan fictions or short stories that nobody read unless they had to for like a peer review in school. I had not ever had the experience of having my content actually consumed and enjoyed and talked about. And now here I was watching this episode that I helped work on premiere to rave reviews and people saying that it made them cry. It almost felt like going from playing backyard football to scoring a goal in the World Cup. Like, it felt like there should have been steps in between, but there just weren't. And that made me feel really good about myself and about what I was capable of.
It was awesome to hear that, because I know that when we were considering what to do with the PR team initially, as it was known as the PR team then, and as sort of slowly morphed into a PR team, external affairs kind of branding, we wanted to give that opportunity outside of the main scope, the main, the canon, so to speak, to explore new ideas, especially ideas that wouldn't otherwise get focused because of the main story itself. And it's awesome to hear that EoJ 2, especially since it was the test, is the one that, you know, your contributions there specifically took off and helped propel that one. It's a really good episode. If it wasn't for the amount of emotional investment I had to put into 5, I would definitely call it one of my favorite. Not least because it also features the best pony as well. And best spiky haired man as well, though, you know, that's not me being biased in any way.
Of course not.
But what I also want to know, because since you sort of have contributed to a few others, what it was like to have that sort of rotation, because for everybody's benefit, we initially started with a process of 2 drafters and then 2 sort of copy editors, second drafters. And we everybody kind of read each idea. So somebody would write an idea, then another couple of people would sort of review the script and give comments and give feedback. And we've actually adapted that whole process into our main writing because it was so effective. But I'd also like to ask sort of what it was like working with everybody else at the time on new ideas, not just, you know, the ones that you've contributed to specifically, like EoJ 2, but kind of being that assistant to, or sorry, not maybe assistant, second drafter to some awesome ideas, like 3, 4. I don't know if you did any copy editing in a sense for 5, but if you did, now is a good time to remind me. So what was it like assisting with the process, is my question.
No. I was the copy editor / second drafter / whatever for every Bonds of Justice from 2 to 5. And that was an experience that almost felt just as rewarding as if I was doing it all myself. Because these are amazing people that I'm working with. I mean, you've got like Brittany, who's someone on the PR team who, if you know because she runs the Twitter. But she's this great creative writer who's so passionate and who's so talented and who's writing just can make you smile in one paragraph and then make you cry in the next. You've got people like Jen and Olive and Decora, and they're not on the team anymore, but they all just have their own talents and are able to thrive and flourish in ways that I never could, just because they were different writers than me. Being a part of a team of such wonderful people, getting to stand alongside them, talk with them, create with them, it was such a valuable experience. It taught me a lot about how the creative process should work, where everybody's ideas are discussed and worked with. And you got people like Jarvie too, and one day they're going to be teaching his writing in college classes. I swear to God, he's so brilliant.
That's some big words and big praise.
Well, you've read Jarvie's stuff. You know I'm right. I love everybody I work on this team with, and getting to collaborate with them, getting just to be called one of them, it's an honor that I never could have imagined I'd be worthy of, you know?
Sure, they're very touched to hear that, Trenton, and so as much as I am as well. And it's not just being a part of the team, though, obviously, because as we've already established, you've now taken off a leadership role in your own right. So obviously now you are the external affairs team lead. So you will also be guiding people, as you say, that people like Jarvie have guided you. And so my first question in relation to your leadership is when you decided you wanted to actually go for it, because within the team at one point, obviously it was Jarvie leading the Bonds of Justice side and the PR. But he had to take on other responsibilities specifically related to the main writing and music. So when did you, and we obviously put a call out to everyone, when did you decide that that was what you wanted to aim for? Or did you decide to aim for it before then, or when we put the announcement? When was it that you chose, now's my chance to take the pedestal, to rally the forces? When did that sort of inspiration strike you?
I don't think I was ever horrifically ambitious to the point of thinking, I could do this better than Jarvie, or I could do this better than Jay, because honestly, I was fine just, executing on your visions. I loved it, and your visions were always brilliant, so it was fulfilling. I think once I got more integrated into the main team, and Jarvie started ceding more and more responsibilities to me and the rest of the PR team, I guess that's when I really realized what I was capable of and how much good I would be able to do if I could spread my wings and truly start putting myself out there in this community. When Jarvie said he would step down and that he was looking for someone to take the PR team in a new direction, I just started picturing like an overhaul of the social medias and cool stuff for the fan server and ideas that could be implemented into Bonds of Justice Season 2. And I realized that if I am capable of making good art, and if I, even in the smallest possible way, am able to inspire people, make their lives just that much better, then I want to. So I'll send them my application. Again, like with the initial audition, I didn't know if anything would come of it, but y'all decided to trust me. And since then, I have got a chance to interact more with this beautiful community we have, and to create some things that I'm really proud of, even a few things that I'm not too proud of, but the point is, I love everything about this team, everything about this production, love everything about each and every one of y'all. And the second I realized that I could give back to y'all, that's when I started wanting to.
Oh, well, I definitely think that it isn't a question of whether or not that has been achieved, because I think personally it's definitely been achieved. And to kind of demonstrate as such, I kind of want to go through some of the awesome things that you have contributed to as a PR. So on the screen right now, for example, I've got a thumbnail that I feel like...
oh, God.
Which I feel like everybody will remember from last year. for April Fools, which I still love. I think it's adorable. And I feel like the main reason I'm so attached to this is because it pushes that stake into my heart of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon that I know I'm never going to get the satisfaction from. Please, can we get a remake of Explorers of the Sky? I'm regaining myself for a second. It was a really good little April Fool's, and I think you should be very proud of it.
Hang on. I hope you know that when I made this episode, it was before I was even PR team lead. It was before I had experience directing anything as simple as a freaking server event. And yet I decided, okay, almost out of spite, I am going to write, I'm going to direct, I'm going to animate, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to do the audio engineering for a main channel episode. And, you know, I feel that experience taught me that I'm better at some things than I am at others. I'm definitely a better writer than I am an audio engineer. And even so, I'm a better audio engineer than I am an editor. So, while I wouldn't exactly put this in the pantheon of great Trenton works of art, it was charming and it was fun, and I am still better for having made it. Because it was technically my directorial debut.
Yeah, true. That's a good way of looking at it. It was certainly a baptism of fire, or a baptism of what are they? They're flying and ghost, I assume, ghost water. So you've certainly got your wings, so to speak, through that.
Yeah, but I'm never editing anything ever again for as long as I shall breathe this planet's air.
Oh, I don't think you need to be editing anything, because when you do, well, you don't really need to edit anything. A lot of your ideas can be very subtle without necessarily a lot of active sort of video, shall we say. And I think the best example of that is this wonderful tournament that you set up a good, what was it, couple of months before? Like, was it November? I want to say it was November. Or was it October? That's actually throwing me off now. When did we host that?
When was EoJ Fest 4? Actually, I don't remember.
We will go looking and go hunting for the exact date, but the point of it is that this wonderful teaser of a event for the very first sort of major thing that was going to happen in case 3. And I'm just checking the chat, and someone's made a very good point. I don't think you can see the chat. Apologies, everyone. Let me fix that real quick for you. Technical
While
difficulty.
you do that, I'll talk
technical.
about this a little bit.
Yes, go ahead.
So,
hide my incompetence.
No, you're not incompetent. You're wonderful. But in any case, another one of my pretty big contributions to like the EoJ Zeitgeist has been server events that I periodically host called the EoJ Fests. And the intention of it is to get the entire community energetic, fired up, ready to go, and get them hyped, get them, you know, just engaging with one another and with a game that I hope fulfills them. So the first EoJ Fest we did was we had this gigantic Tetris tournament. It was a blast. We'd had a freaking Google offline dinosaur game, which was really fun. Had a Pac-Man tournament when we were releasing BOJ 5. And then sort of in the interim, between 2.9 and 3.1, I hosted a chess tournament on the EoJ server, and as you can see, we got some custom art made for that. Now, what I didn't tell anyone at the time was that I didn't just choose chess because I like chess and thought that everyone else would like it too. I was very subtly teasing 3.1 4 months before it even came out. And that kind of just strikes at the core of one of my philosophies regarding PR. Entertain and engage people without even telling them that you are teasing what comes next. That way, they'll suspect nothing. I don't think a single person ever realized that when I hosted a chess tournament, I was also spoiling the next episode.
I don't think anyone caught it. And it was great after the fact as well to, well, I'd say it was great after the fact, but both of us have to admit that we were tearing our hairs out for a little while over the fact that no one had picked up on the clues. And I was actively in people's DMs dropping chess metaphors and chess little sort of hints that there was chess things, and no one was picking up on them. I was very, very, very disappointed. I think I went off a little bit in the DC for this, but this was the first truly fun. I won't necessarily call it psyop from you, but it was certainly a great game, mental game to play with everyone. And there are plenty more, I'm sure, that you are brewing up or have brewed up already that people should be keeping an eye out for.
I will say, there is currently stuff out there, like on the EoJ fan server or on the social medias, that nobody has caught. Like, it's like I said, my philosophy is put out just fun, engaging, stimulating content to sort of give back to the fan base, while also subliminally preparing them for the next episode. So, some of my teasers have been teasing y'all, even if you don't realize it.
And I feel like a really good one to sort of highlight this is this wonderful piece, which I think a lot of people really just didn't clock at the time. I don't know if I don't know how many people saw it, but no one seemed to be too aware of what it was implicating, which was quite interesting.
Yep.
And if you've not seen 3-2 yet, you should go and see 3-2. But the apparent sort of leakage of what it was showing is quite prevalent, especially in the background. Now, I'm not entirely sure if what he's writing is that supposed to be what is that supposed to be again? From my knowledge,
That's the forged affair letter.
there we go. That was the forged affair. Fair devotion. But yeah, no, you've made some.
Oh my god!
You've made some excellent teasers, especially like these ones, which have just have gone over everybody's head. I've got to also show off this fun PR image as well from the end of the chess tourney, which I still love. So cheeky.
That one wasn't even my idea. That was Surrey's idea. But it's just freaking visceral, but also hilarious and charming. And again, nobody ever caught that there is a linkage between Sonata and chess.
And this is, again, I've got to be careful because I will just go off on this whole affair if I'm not careful. It's still, it doesn't irk me, but it still just kind of is like, why? We try so hard. We try so hard. It's almost as bad as the door, which, I'm going to have words about the door at the 3-2 director's commentary. I'm sorry, that door is bane of my existence right now. But yeah, what else have we got? Let's have a quick look at what else I've got here. You've also been quite, I say you, but you've also been very proactive well, you've been the conduit for a certain what's his name, Mr. Elements of Justice. I don't know who he is. Do you know who he is? Because I don't know who he is, but I know that you know something about him.
So Elements of Justice has a TikTok, and the TikTok is supposedly run by this monstrous, demonic, evil individual who likes to string along innocent EoJ fans with his fun facts and with his trivia about Elements of Justice episodes. And Slade, I don't stand for it, and I don't think anybody else could either. So if they ever find out who he is and who he's working for, then I want to be the first to give him a piece of my mind.
I feel like the worst thing about that horrible horrible, vindictive criminal is that he took over my private private channel on the Discord not too long ago, back in like December time, and I was furious, absolutely fuming. Nobody should ever desecrate the Mr. G Area 42. Nobody.
Oh yeah, if you're not in the fan server, go to the fan server and like just click on the join link right this very second. I'm not pressuring you or anything, but I will say you are missing out on unforeseeable shenanigans that go on in that room.
All the chaos. It is nothing but chaos. But yeah, okay. So that's quite a lot of fun little images to sort of break up the questions. I think we should get back to some more questions though, because there's quite a few that I still have to ask you before I can open up to everyone. But yeah, we've discussed a lot about like how you got to the position you are in now. So let's talk a bit about how you have found the role, what you enjoy, what you don't like about it, what you are, I suppose, motivated by whilst doing it.
The PR team has been one of my greatest passions recently. And it's just because it allows me to do work that I love, engaging with this fan base, making content for them. It sort of combines so many of my loves in life, because I love writing. You know that. I've been writing for years. I love public service. I love talking to people. I love sort of engaging with people. I love just the mere institution of leadership, because it means that I'm capable of helping people. So I'll always seek out opportunities for me to sort of improve others' lives in any way that I can. Plus the people I work on the PR team with, you've heard me gush about them. They're brilliant. They're talented. They're so nice. They're really great at their jobs. But they're even better friends than they are members of the production. I hang out with them and I talk with them even when I'm not discussing social media strategy or the new Next Boss Justice episode. So, I can't complain about a thing with regards to like my day-to-day experience. Every once in a while, and you know this as well as I do, the PR team runs into issues because we are also the voice of the production. So if ever something happens internally or externally, it's the PR team that has to figure out how to like manage that and get the message across or deal with crisis resolution. Being a leader of the PR team also means that I've been a freaking moderator on the fan server, which has led to me kind of having to put my foot down on more people than I would otherwise, and that's not exactly the most fun thing to do. But all in all, I wouldn't trade this position for the world. About a couple months ago, not a couple months ago, more longer than that, Jarvie gave me the opportunity to become a main series writer. And I turned it down because I love what I do and who I do it with way too much, even to abandon them for something else that I would love.
And that's quite surprising, I'm sure, for a lot of people to, well, maybe for some people, but for you, obviously, it was a clear-cut decision, not wanting to give up on it. And as I say, from my perspective, I'm very glad that that offer was rejected, because there's been a lot more, as you say, gains for everybody from you being in the position you're in. And you mentioned quite a lot of different areas there that you've had an impact on in terms of leadership and also keeping things moderated. Would you say that you definitely influenced the production? And if you don't believe that, what do you think is your goal, in essence? When do you think you will know you have truly left your mark. From my perspective, I should just add that I think you have. But I'd be curious to know what you think personally.
In terms of like the production itself, like the Elements of Justice episodes that get released on YouTube, I don't have much of a direct influence on those. I think my greatest contribution to Case 3 is that I was the one who suggested they put like a Smarty Pants doll in the Wonderbolt's barracks just as a fun little Easter egg. But no, I don't write for the main series. I don't edit the main series, thank God. I don't sort of do anything aside from alert people to episode releases and get them hyped up for them. Well, aside from Bonds of Justice. But whether I've impacted the production is a more complex question than that, because in a sense, it's not my job to work on the episodes. It's my job to, network with the beautiful people who enjoy and are impacted by the series. It's my job to sort of use the social medias and the server as tools for connecting with those people and let them know that, hey, we care about you just as much as you care about us. It's my job to create side series that are supplemental to the main series and that, give the fans something new, interesting, exciting, maybe in some senses a bit deeper and more reflective. So no, I don't think that I've had much of a direct impact on the series, but on the production itself, I certainly hope, and I think that I've made my mark.
That's a pretty reasonable way of looking at it. Well, I'm slowly running out of the main questions that I want to ask, so I'm going to say to everybody in the Discord right now, and everyone who's watching, if you want to, on the YouTube, if you want to ask a question, you need to come into the Discord. But if you are in the Discord already and you're here with us on the stage channel, if you want to ask a question, you need to go to the voice channel just directly below this stage channel. It's called Question Vetting. My bailiff, Lightning, will be there waiting for you to just quickly go through your question. So if you have a question, head down there now and check in with him to make sure that your question is good to go. Whilst everyone is doing that, I've got my last main question to ask you. This one actually comes from Jarvie himself. He couldn't make it tonight, so he left me a question that he wanted me to ask you. What has been the most rewarding or fulfilling experience you felt as a member of the production? You've touched on quite a lot already, so I'd be interested to know what you consider to be the creme de la creme. You've already met, but especially considering, you've got quite a lot. So tell us, Trenton, what is that peak?
It hasn't come out yet. But
of course.
No. As of right now, stuff that is currently released on the channel, it's gotta be EoJ Season 1, Episode 2. It's nowhere near my best work. It's nowhere near that which I've impacted the most. In fact, when I wrote that, I wasn't even really a part of the team. But it was the start of an experience that has changed my life. And watch this crossover series when I was young. If I hadn't clicked on a recommendation for the sequel series, if I hadn't joined at just the right time to see the application window open up, if I hadn't shot my shot, even against my own expectations, I would be a completely different person. And so, if in the future I'm a successful writer or successful leader of any kind, I'm gonna look back on that Rainbow Dash episode getting released, and people loving it, as what started it all. It's what taught me what I was really capable of, and it is what got me inspired and motivated to want to do stuff like that for the rest of my life. But what I'm most proud of, really most proud of, you may see next month.
Oh, isn't that a tempting teaser in itself? Well, maybe we'll give a little bit more information on that. Who knows? Okay. We do have some questions from the people in the Discord right now. I need to quickly do something very silly, though, also equally very quickly. So, the first person to ask a question is, and if only it would let me hide people before they appear, is this individual. So, Cart, if you'd like to step onto the stage.
Oh my god, hello.
What, you expected me to not rush in?
You had just told me that you freaking sped down the highway and rushed your grocery shopping to be home, so I expected you to have something to say, but this quickly.
I have a question. Out of all of the various tips or teasers, tricks, and various schemes you've done throughout all of this, which one's your favorite?
A favorite promotional campaign I've ever done?
Yeah.
It's sitting on the desk over there with Mr. G. So this actually just happened fairly recently, but I decided to make an AI recreation of Lawkeeper Equity, and I set it loose on the server expecting some shenanigans to happen. And what proceeded to happen was the most entertaining week in fan server history, where the artificial intelligence was rapping, where it was freaking going on waffle-related mental breakdowns, where it was threatening to kill anybody who crossed its path while telling cheesy dad jokes. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to do something that engaging, that fun, ever again. But still, I didn't even know if it would work when I first pitched the idea of an AI equity. And not only did it work, but it may have just completely changed the dynamic of how the fan server operates from here on forth.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic.
Brilliant.
It was a wonderful creation.
Thank you very much. And this is just another thing. I said it earlier. It's my philosophy that I include teasers where people aren't expecting teasers. And I will just say, Mequity is another example of having teased things that you will not realize she had teased until retrospect. Come the release of the final episode of Case 3, you will look back on some of the things that Mequity said and said, oh god, D-word, Trenton, really?
I expected as much. I know you well enough to know that there's probably all sorts of hidden subtle meaning in half of the things she said that none of us would have expected. I look forward to it.
Onwards and upwards, dear friend of mine. Thank you for checking in.
Same to you, man.
Thank you very much, Inkart. Okay. I accidentally did a wonderful technical difficulty of my own, and I didn't allow people to check the vetting channel below because I can make Discord permissions work, I promise. And Inkart is still on the screen. This is interesting. Inkart, why are you on the screen? Go away. Okay, so...
His shadow looms over us all.
It does. Whilst we're waiting for people to quickly ask their question, just make sure that it's all good, I'll ask a backup question. So, this is a bit of a boring one, but I feel like I can get a lot of mileage out of it. Who's your favourite sports team, and why?
The New Orleans Saints of American football, who do not suck. They are average, which is worse, because they're always one game away from making the playoffs, and they crap the bed like they always do, and then we're stuck with a mid-draft pick, so we can't even just start over with new players. The reason I like them is just kind of for a superficial reason. It's because when I was younger, I just watched football and I cheered for the team that I thought had the prettier uniforms. This was before I knew the rules or anything like that. And the Saints have this really beautiful black and gold color scheme, and their logo is the Florida Leaves, which I've always thought's a good design. So I don't have any genuine emotional connection to the team, they just have the best logo, best uniforms, and so I continue to let them disappoint me and to find my mental stability year after year.
Oh wait, you had mental stability? Oh dear, we're gonna have to, get rid of that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I did before I started watching football, and then the rest of it went when I joined this production.
Well, okay. If we're talking about your production capacity. Oh, actually, no. Hold on. I'll hold myself. I will restrain myself from the chaos for a second, and also reset the music. As we have a question now from the next individual, which is Flower Pie. If I can actually do my job, though. Oh dear, what's going on here? What is going on? What am I doing? Oh no, it's all breaking.
Do we need to pull up the ashtray image, sir?
No, we're not that broken just yet. Hold on. Technical difficulties, but not technical difficulties, I promise. It's gonna work. That was an awful idea that I'm still glad we did. Right, okay. Up next is Flower Pie.
Hello.
Hello.
Howdy. How are you?
So my question is, when you make episodes, like future episodes, do you have everything planned out already, or is it just trying to decide what you should do next?
Episodes are planned fairly far in advance. Not to the extent that they are for the main EoJ series where we've got crap planned up to case 5. But no, before we even started writing episode 1 of season 2 of Bonds of Justice, we all sat down in a meeting with G and Jarvie, and we talked about what we wanted to achieve with each of the episodes, and we set out stories that we wanted to tell. So yeah, we know what episode 1, 2, 3, and so on of EoJ is going to be, if that's your question.
Brilliant. Does that answer your question for Flower Pie?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. I love that profile picture, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a cracking
I
one.
do that myself.
Ah,
Yeah.
excellent. We always loved it when we make our own stuff. Thank you very much for your question, Flower Pie. So, yes, we always do keep things relatively up to date. At least, we do plan things occasionally. Not all of them, though. Not everything. Some things better than others. Got a little bit of time before the next person, so I'm going to ask another question. I know I'm dominating the questions today. Let's have a pick. Trenton, give me a number between 2 and 10.
10.
Okay. Oh, you did that deliberately. All right, Trenton.
Yeah, I did, baby.
Trenton, this is going to have to stop the music altogether. Okay. And actually, I think I should put on a more appropriate track in a second. But Trenton, my question for you is, can you give me your honest thoughts about Mr. G?
Mr. G, the master of chaos himself, a genuine inspiration, a role model, dare I say it, a hero, was the first person from the EoJ team that reached out to me when I sent in that application. And since then, my life has not been the same in the best way possible. He's taught me a lot of things about being a good content creator, and especially about being a good leader. Through the thick and the thin, through the good and the bad, Mr. G has been a guiding light for the entire EoJ production. He has helped me in times when I maybe didn't even deserve to be helped. He has set me down a better path in life, and I think in retrospect, when I'm all grown and I've done all the work that I'm going to have done, G will have had a greater impact on my life than maybe my other bosses or my other teachers. Because he's not just a boss and he's not just a teacher, even though he's a great one of both. He's a friend. He's a compatriot who I wouldn't trade for anyone. Oh, and he also wrote the recommendation letter that at least assisted in getting me free tuition for college. So whatever. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. I know that can't have been, I know that can't have been easy, but so whatever opportunities that opens up for me, I'm gonna credit to you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for all that you've done. I will say that a lot of that was well earned by you, Trenton. I was very, truthfully, I was very bashful by the fact that you were willing to do so in the first place. To ask, I didn't expect that there was any value in me adding that opinion. So all I can say though is that I'm very glad it did add some value, and more than anything, I'm extremely proud of you for getting that free tuition. As I say, I may have helped, but it was by your own means that you got there. So well done, very much a well done. But truly, thank you for the kind words. It means a lot. I feel almost slightly guilty for having the we're experiencing technical difficulties music playing over most of what you said there. Almost guilty, but not quite. Oh my god, did you really?
You didn't hear it.
I take it back. I hate you. You're the worst director ever. You suck.
What can I say? I like how we first started as well. We remember actually, what was it that I started our sort of like our friendship as well? Because when I first reached out to you, I didn't give you the simple, oh yes, you succeeded, did I? I gave you a whole nother message, didn't I?
I forgot about this. So picture that you're me. You're a 15-year-old kid who is just starting to, be the professional writer that he always dreamed of. He sent in this application to a series that he very much admires. He gets a DM from the, at the time, assistant director of that production. So, you, being flustered and being starstruck, you take like 5 minutes to click on the notification, and you see Mr. G having told you, yeah, your application sucked. It was one of the worst I've ever read. That's what he said to me. The very first text message I ever got from Mr. Gentleman's himself was, yeah, your application sucks.
I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the messages now, because I you're not wrong. No, you're 100% not lying there, but I have to go back and I have to look at the oldest message.
Remember, this was a previous account of mine that no longer exists.
Oh no, that's so true.
So no, that's gone. It's lost to history. Man.
Oh, that's actually kind of sad. All I know is that you weren't the only person I did that to. You weren't. Every single person on the PR team initially, when they were getting signed on, I sent something. I think my favorite of those, this is something I do for everyone. So if you ever get a message from me and it isn't an immediate sort of thank you for replying, and I start talking to you in a way that is terrifying, like or just something stupid, just know that you're in for good news. But I think my favorite is that I was so mean to someone. I think it was one of our credits designers. I said that that when they sent in their file, it had a virus on it and it infected someone's computer.
Oh my god! Sure.
I don't remember who that was, but I, in retrospect, I'm slightly guilty because I think they genuinely were terrified that they actually had just destroyed someone's computer. They hadn't. And their work was fantastic, but oh my word, I can be a little cheeky. We do a little trolling.
Well, I wouldn't trade you for anything, except maybe like a really good steak. Then maybe, but
right. There was a question that I missed, I believe by Bowman, I think it is. Here we go. I've got it now. So, they can't speak, but they've sent it in anyway. So, question is, I'm an inspired words. It's only at 9 o'clock and I'm already slurring. Oh no. I'm an aspiring fanfic writer. Any advice for writing a horror and or comedy, or anything really, but specifically focusing on the horror and comedy elements?
Don't feel like your first draft has to be perfect. Don't even feel like your first draft has to be good. And there's absolutely no shame in like coming back, rewriting this, rewriting that, changing this, deleting that, adding that, and just playing around with even single pages of your writing for weeks on end. I know I've certainly done that countless times.
Always.
They're big on timing and are big on legitimate, trying to entice specific reactions from the audience. And so it's very important that you play around with things like pacing and with things like timing and with the specific minute execution of certain details. That's not just something that comes naturally to a lot of writers. It's not something that you can just wing. So sit down, write something, even if it's 3 pages, and you can only keep 1 paragraph of those 3 pages on a second draft, you're still a paragraph closer to a complete story than you were before. So no, don't be ashamed to write multiple drafts, and in fact embrace that process, because it's how you create the best art possible in any genre.
Quite. I think that's very, very wise words there. Okay, we have another question from the audience. It's coming in thick and fast here. This next one is from someone within the team that you will know very well.
Hi, Trenton.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely delightful. Even better now that I can hear your voice.
Aw, you're so sweet. An absolute gem. I already said that in the chat, but I'm going to say it to you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I've got, hopefully, a fun question for you. Sort of a hypothetical. If we were able to get a show VA, meaning like a My Little Pony voice actor, to guest star on EoJ, how would you go about teasing that?
Oh my god. That almost happened. That almost happened too, which is interesting. Well, I think just off the cuff, what I would do is I would take a photo of that actor and I would put it into like a stock image and then release that as a teaser and see if anybody notices. Like I would have like freaking, and I could do it as a bit where, you know, the teaser could be something that's being written on a whiteboard, but what looks like a stock image of Michelle Kraber is the one that's standing next to the whiteboard, giving the cheesy thumbs up. And yeah, again, I would just like lean into my strategy of don't even really clue them in to the fact that it's a teaser unless they're paying very close attention. Or I would like hide their initials in something that I release, where that could be fun, where I could just, where like it could just be a teaser of like say Apple Bloom on the playground and just carved into like one of the trees next to the playground, it would be like MC was here or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I just wanted to see your genius in action.
Of course. And then I'd like do something more direct with like a silhouette, and I could say, keep your ears open for a very special guest next episode of Elements of Justice releasing this day. And, I do it in stages too, where I'm like more subtle at first and then more overt later on.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Because I believe in generating a hype, but I also believe in the element of surprise as a tool for getting people engaged.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Now I wish it happened just because I would love to see all of your social media strategies and just see if anyone catches any of it.
Oh, well, who knows what the future will hold? I mean, if you just really, really think about it, we're not even halfway done with Elements of Justice. So
That's true. And I did talk to Michelle, and the main reason that she couldn't do Apple Bloom was because of copyright. But if it was an original character,
just a freaking Bapple Loom we could have.
Yes. So we'll see.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Oh my god. Oh, what is it the kids say? We are going to be like consuming or something if we ever get this opportunity?
Oh, I don't know. I live under a rock, man.
Okay.
How big is that rock? Surely it's not the size of a pebble, is it? You're not that tiny.
It's Boulder.
Oh no, not Boulder. Oh, I feel sorry for Boulder. I'm so sorry. Sorry,
Freaking-
Boulder.
What was the name of Rarity's rock? I don't remember.
Tom!
What?
Tom!
Tom, that's right. Hang on. That's her.
Here comes Tom.
And now we get to see your brilliant voice work in action. Man, this is just a great interview.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. I'll stop hogging the mic. Thank you.
Ah, yes, get off the stage, Boo. You already had your EoJ talks. Nah, thanks for being on.
Thank
great.
you. Wish you nothing but the best.
Okay, let's get back to another question from me, just to break things up whilst we wait for the next person. We've got a bit of time still, so I can continue to hog your attention span, I think. I'm not going to let you choose because that led to too much positivity last time, so let's have a think.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and I got this weird request from someone, completely unrelated to this, that they want you to specify that the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Would you be willing to specify as such, Trenton?
The Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire?
Yes.
One of these days, I'm just going to bring Hannibal back to life and have him march on Rome again just to see what happens.
Oh no, not the mountains, not the elephants. Don't do it, Trenton. Don't do it. You can't.
Oh, I just got a new idea for a BOJ.
Oh, I literally was just going to say that as well. It's like, this gives me creative inspiration. Okay, moving back away from the madness, because that's my domain. Who would you call the best original character in Case 2?
Camera.
Camera? What?
No, like camera. Like what you take photographs with.
There was a camera? You are confusing me, good sir. Who? What? Okay, sure. Let's go with this. The camera was the best original character. So, what drew you to the camera? What was the defining moment for camera?
Their introduction was really well written and struck, all the right chords. It was very comedic, but it was also insightful, and it gave us, questions, but questions that were very fun to deliberate, and the character that definitely gonna love seeing a lot more of when the opportunity presents itself. And it kind of just shows the genius of the writing team and the wonderful characters that they are capable of bringing to life.
Well, I'm sure that the writer of Camera will be truly grateful to know. I'm not sure who wrote Camera. I couldn't even remember Camera for a minute.
Because, I freaking tried to pitch, a BOJ involving Camera to Jarvie, and he said, okay, this would be pretty good if, you actually were writing the character correctly. So...
Well, guess we won't get that BOJ of Camera then. So sad, so shame. Oh well. Actually, that brings up a follow-up question. Who was the worst original character? And not by performance, obviously. We're just talking about, who do you think had the... If you could take a character and write them in your own way, who would you want to do that? Who would be that character?
I just realized that you asked me about the best OC in Case 2, and I answered with the best OC in Case 3. God, like, look.
I thought for a second. I thought you were off cue for a good minute, but I didn't want to correct you too much in case you had something to go with this, so I just let you cook.
Look, man. My family has coined something called the Trentonism, and here's how it works. 9 times out of 10, if I contribute something to a conversation, it's very insightful and relevant and appropriate, and everybody is glad to have heard it. But the 10th time is a doozy. It's one of just the stupidest things you've ever heard in your entire life, and you gotta kind of like stop the conversation in its tracks to sort of just like reorient. That's what Trenton is. So, my favorite OC in Case 2? Private Eye. Camera is my favorite OC from Case 3. Good God, I'm going to end up on a highlight reel.
Hey, look, there's worse ways to end up on a highlight reel. There are worse ways to end up on a highlight reel. But, as I said, the question now is, who would be the character you wish you could have developed more from Case 2 if you had an opportunity to write? Which character do you think didn't get quite as much, good attention?
That's an interesting question. I think that, my answer is kind of twofold. One, I loved how Turner Page was written in the original series. He was a great idea for an Ace Attorney character, and this really, really unique take on an Ace Attorney culprit. But I kind of felt that, his story ended in Case 2 sort of leaves a lot on the table. EoJ 1.5 was a great way of sort of addressing what comes next for him. But if I was given, the keys to the franchise, and if I was allowed to write a second side series that was like a sequel series, I would follow Turner Page and what it's going to be like for him growing up and the kind of pony that he's going to eventually become. Because there's so much potential there, largely due to how well he was introduced and developed in Case 2.
Okay, that's interesting.
He's not the worst OC by any means, but I feel he is the one who I can say has more story to be told.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, there you have it. Look out for the side series of EoJ. Turning page, actually turning the page. We've got a couple more questions from people in the Discord. But we'll start with the second to last, which is Retrover.
Hi, I was wondering, do you think from the one of Case 2, where is it ladder or step ladder?
Oh God, that's one of the great questions that have divided men for centuries. War's been fought over that. People have died, so it's not something that I can just address lightly. I would say that it's not even really about the ladder. It's about what the ladder represents. Humanity is a beautiful and diverse institutions, no matter how many fights we get into. So we need to be celebrating our differences and our different viewpoints and the different realities that we experience each and every day. And only when considering other people's voices, only when you bring the ladders and the step ladders of the world together in the same room and have them honestly and thoughtfully communicate, will you make real progress in this world. So, yeah, that's my thought. It's not even really about ladders and step ladders. It's about the dichotomy between men, which needs to be solved if we want to create a more democratic and peaceful world.
There you go, the political treatise that no one expected, but everyone needed to hear.
Yeah.
Now, to your question, Retrover?
Yeah, and one last question. Who would you say is your favorite pony?
Favorite pony. When I was watching MLP as a kid, I guess I'm still kind of a kid, but when I was watching MLP when I was little, it was always Apple Bloom. And I guess it was just like, I'm a Southern child, so I really liked the Southern child. But, growing up, engaging more with the franchise and diving deep in the fan works, I would have to say it's someone like, freaking... Like, it's cliche to say Twilight Sparkle, but the kind of directions that I've seen the fan base take her in, now that I've become more media literate, have given me greater appreciation for who she is and what she represents in the grand scheme of the series.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
That's all for my questions.
No worries. Appreciate you asking. Thanks very much for tuning in.
Now, let me just... let's go ask the final question from Israel Bucky. Is that correct, person?
I think, yes, next person will be Israel. We got a last-minute quick add-on. I also checked my notifications. My phone notifications appeared suddenly. So, yes. Let's get you up on the stage then. 1 second. Oops. Oh, hello. All right.
Why, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there. How are you?
Pretty good. Sorry about that.
That's not a problem in the slightest, dear friend of mine. Hope you're having a good day.
Nope. I sure am.
What's your question?
So, anyway, so Trenton, are there any hobbies you like to do outside of your job, like whenever you're not writing?
Writing is like my main passion. It's more than a passion at this point. It's a part of my life. But beyond that, I kind of mentioned this earlier. I love American football. It's just a blast to follow, even if it drains me more times than it doesn't. I also love to read, as most good writers do. I edit Wikipedia a ton, and I know that's the nerdiest hobby of all time. But most of the time when I'm bored, I just go to random Wikipedia pages and either rewrite them or fix incorrect information, and that's just how I waste away my afternoons. I'm also big into academics, so a weird amount of time for me is just spent researching math or history for the fun of it. I play a quick recall, which is a sport that's essentially competitive trivia, so it also helps out with that. And I don't want to talk about this too much, but I am big into politics and political organizing. And if I could have any job in the future that I would want, it would be like a speech writer for a major politician. So, yeah, I've got a lot going on in my life, and sometimes it's too much, but most of the time I'm just glad to be a part of stuff that's greater than myself.
It's very admirable.
Thank you very much.
Does that answer your question then?
Yep, it sure does.
Brilliant. Well,
Sure.
thank you very much
And
for
thank
asking.
you for all the work. And thank you for all the work that you guys do. I really love the series.
Oh God, it's that kind of support that makes it all worth it. There's nothing that I want to do more in life than give back to the people that have been so kind to me. So even one smile on one face makes everything I have done more than worth it.
From one fan fiction writer to another, you've done an amazing job.
Onwards and upwards.
Okie
Anyways,
dokie.
thank you guys for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for your question. Alrighty. Now we're coming up to near the end. We've got one more question that needs to be asked, and then we'll begin to wrap it up. Last question today comes from Lightning.
Hey.
Hey, Latin. thank you for all the hard work you've done to help put this together, and thank you for volunteering to help vet questions. You are a wonderful events team lead, and production wouldn't be the same without you.
You want to make me cry already? Because I'm about to.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on the team. Let's just say that. And
Right,
my question very simple. First off, I'm going to say I love your accent. It cracks me up.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And British are back. Oh, sorry, that came out. And finally, who is your favourite comedian? Or may I ask?
My favorite comedian?
Yes.
It's gotta be Bo Burnham. I don't think I've ever had, like, just a more enjoyable hour and a half in my 17 years of living than sitting in, like, on the couch in the living room with my little brother and my mom watching Bo Burnham's Inside.
Aww.
It's not just hilarious, it's poignant and relevant and meaningful. It's the kind of humor that 5 years ago no one would appreciate, and I sense in 5 years nobody will appreciate. But here and now, he does such a great job of just capturing the ridiculousness of current human existence, and his music's just catchy too. You know, if I can be laughing and bopping my head at the exact same time, someone has done their job right. Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. I'm not going to finish that song or else this video's getting yeeted off the internet, but...
That's the last thing we want.
Yeah.
So we don't want that happening. And I was also going to ask who's your favourite pony, but that's already been asked. But anyway, pleasure to be speaking to you.
Always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lightning.
See you at Festival of Friendship, Jay. See you there.
See you there at Festival of Friendship. Absolutely. Bye-bye. I cut you off before you could finish. I'm so evil. Okay. Right. So we haven't got too much time left, so I need to start wrapping this up. Slowly but surely, anyway. Now, before I do, everyone here, I think, deserves a little treat. Don't you, Trenton?
Well, yeah. I mean, they've listened to me and my freaking stupid southern accent for the past hour and a half. I think they deserve a little treat.
A little treat. Just a teeny, tiny treat.
T-R-E-A-T, if you will.
You've just put that meme back into my head. Oh, that's going to live rent-free.
Treat?
Treat?
God, that's
no
freaking...
treat. No treat. Oh. What does NAP spell? Party.
One of these days, I'm going to need to send MV, like, a freaking bouquet of flowers, because that man's had such an impact on my life.
I mean, to be fair, the meme template was before here, but I do love the editing of including the Case 2 characters. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
But we are sorely off track. This train has been derailed. Teaser. Okay. I've been talking a little bit, and I mentioned a certain episode 1 of a certain season 2 of a certain Bonds of Justice. You know what I'm talking about, right, Trenton?
I'm very familiar with it, yes, sir.
So, as a little fun preview, I thought I'd show a potential background. What do you think, Trenton? You think that would be quite a nice addition?
Green means go, sir. Green means go.
All right. So, if everyone wants to take a quick look at the screen, here's a nice little teaser of where we may be going for the next EoJ. Now, I'll leave it to people to make a decision and to do their theories onto what that could be, who that could be, where that could be. But this is also a great time to be teasing the fact that, whilst we have always traditionally been clear about the fact that we try to release stuff for everybody at the same time, there is a convention that's appearing in the near future. So if you want to learn a bit more about what this could be, a bit before everyone else, maybe come along to Festival of Friendship in Southampton. That's as much as I'm going to say on that matter, because you've already got quite a lot for that. But yes,
And you all thought that you could listen to an interview with the promotional guy without getting a little bit of promotion.
Indeed. So keep an eye out for more information on what this could be. But I'm going to take it off the screen now before people start taking too many good guesses at what it could be. I also got to do one more thing as well, because I feel like it is now a tradition I wish to implement. So I'm sure you've all noticed that this stream has been a little bit more, how you could say, a bit messy in terms of stuff all over the place compared to previous EoJ talks. And this is by no accident. Don't worry, I may have had the technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream, but this is all planned. Each of these are a little sort of gift from every single person who came on. That I'd like to sort of remember them by. But there's also an icon for each of my previous guests. And I feel like now is a good time to have Trenton's mark be left on this bench, so to speak. So Trenton, do you remember a long time ago that you sent me a very funny image of someone that's quite, I think is quite close to you, and this will be quite awkward if it is ultimately not related to you at all. A happy face, if you will. A very long time ago, actually. I'm sending you into a spiral now to remember who that may be.
I'm terrified. But
okay.
Oh, you know what? I think I deserve TREAT too. What do you have is not. Sorry, it's not my coat of arms. I know it's not my coat of arms, but
no, it's definitely not the coat of arms. That would be too. That would be too on the nose. No, instead, Trenton, like how we have Six Pack Julius, Deus Vault PPW, and Paper Arts. I feel like I'd like to remember you by this adorable little friend that you sent me a long time ago, because I found that picture. Now, if this will make no sense to anyone, and I think you may have forgotten about this as well, Trenton.
No, that's Elsa, my dog.
Yeah.
Aww.
So it was adorable because one day, basically, you started sending me pictures of your dog in both happy and in serious mode. And every time I said something completely stupid, you kept sending me the serious picture of your dog. So I thought
there was like a couple week period where I used a picture of my dog as a reaction image.
Yes. And I thought, what is a perfect way to memorize this adorable moment in our friendship than to have it represent you on this in your time on the EoJ Talks.
Oh wait, I remember this because you and I were trying to schedule something, and every time I would be prepared for the meeting that you were trying to schedule, and you wouldn't be, so I would send you the judgmental dog.
You can now. You can definitely start sending it again now that you remember this. Oh god, no. This is one of those moments where I just unlock a core memory, and again, this was purely because I was deeply, hurriedly searching for funny images. There was one that I was going to use instead, but then I came across this. Was like, oh no, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So yeah, there you are, Trenton. You have now been immortalized into the EoJ Talks set as your wonderful dog. Elsa, was it? Did you say?
Yeah, Elsa. Not named after the princess, actually. When we got her, we were looking for name suggestions, and South Carolina and the U.S. East Coast in general was getting battered by Hurricane Elsa. It didn't end up being a very destructive hurricane in the end, but we figured, why not name our little bundle of chaos after another bundle of chaos?
That is a smart way of doing it. I'm never against more chaos. Chaos squared is the best way to be, as far as I'm concerned. But yes, I think we've definitely, brought. I think we've come to a point now where we can start to begin wrapping up. Now that you have been immortalized into the set, so I'm going to start I'm going to start with our traditional outro song, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody in the Discord stage channel, everyone on the YouTube, and if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for watching this even after the fact. Trenton, an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And I will suggest that for everybody who is listening, we have a director's commentary next weekend for 3-2. So make sure you stick around on the Discord for that, or keep an eye on the channel for that, because we'll be going into a lot of detail about the episode itself. But Trenton, the time has come to part, but there's only one thing left for us to do, correct?
Yes, sir. I've been looking forward to it for months now.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. And on the count of 3, Trenton. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
Objection!